the video that we wanted to cover today, which is that Tesla sales are imploding. Now, I am a Tesla owner, so I want to hear exactly what's going on here.
Without a doubt, Elon Musk is the businessman with the closest relationship to US President Donald Trump. Following the election, Tesla's stock price surged as investors hoped that Musk could use his political influence to enrich his own companies. By mid-December, the EV giant's share price had almost doubled. However, over the following months, the stock has given up all of those gains. As of the time of recording this video, Tesla's share price is 11% lower than it was on election day. Elon Musk's close relationship to Donald Trump may have backfired, as many consumers no longer want to be associated with the brand. In recent weeks, anti-Musk protests have popped up at Tesla showrooms across the United States and Europe. There have also been numerous incidents of individuals committing arson and other acts of vandalism at Tesla showrooms and supercharger stations.
Yeah, and so I own a Tesla Model Y Performance. I love my car, and we're going on a road trip to Florida over spring break. By the way, I'll be out next week for spring break, and this drives me crazy. I was on the phone with my parents literally this morning before we got on the live stream here, and I was like, I'm actually like nervous, like going to these superchargers if some asshole is going to show up and try and mess with me and my family when all we're doing is driving our car. So first off, F you guys who think that this is a cool thing to do. Like, F you all the way to heck, okay? Not cool. Not cool at all. Second off, what does this help? Who does this help? Does this really help your cause of the party of compassion and care and all this great stuff that you talk about, and then you commit arson and you do all these things to people who are just minding their own business? Sorry, I don't see that at all. I don't see any reason for that. So just a little side note there.
In addition to targeting Tesla showrooms, many vandals also target random Tesla vehicles they see on the street. The goal appears to be to intimidate Tesla owners and decrease Tesla sales. According to the FBI, domestic terrorism is defined.
Oh, you ain't intimidate me. You want to go? You want to go? I'll take you to the gun show. I'll take you to the gun show. Let's do this thing. You're not intimidating me, bruh.
As violent criminal acts committed by individuals and/or groups to further ideological goals stemming from domestic influences. It will be interesting to see if any of the perpetrators receive terrorism charges. In this video, we'll look at how the controversy surrounding Musk has impacted Tesla's sales and what this means for the company going forward. If you run any type of business, be it big or small, finding the right candidate isn't just another task, it's the key to your business's success. Whether you run a restaurant, a tech startup, or
Wait, that ad got me. I was like, wait, what? Hang on, let's scoot forward here. Okay.
has commented about political issues for a number of years and officially endorsed Trump in July of 2024. But at first, it was not clear how much influence Musk would have in a Trump administration. After the inauguration, Trump set up the Department of Government Efficiency, which is run by Musk. Musk appears to have significant influence within the Trump administration. His Department of Government Efficiency has already made radical changes to the federal bureaucracy. Musk's controversies will likely have different impacts in different parts of the world. For example, we should probably expect a significant impact within the United States itself, as this is where the controversies are centered. In somewhere like China, for example, people may not follow or care about US politics, so you would probably expect Musk's controversies to be less impactful. Tesla does not disclose its delivery numbers by country, but many countries have industry associations or government statistics agencies which publish numbers about car sales. With this data, we can get some pretty good estimates. In 2024, China was Tesla's biggest market by volume with 660,000 deliveries. The United States was close behind with 618,000 deliveries. Despite this, Tesla's revenue from the United States was more than double its revenue from China. There are a few reasons for this. Due to higher competition, Tesla sells its cars for much lower prices in China than in the US. In China, they sell more of the cheaper Model 3, while in America they sell more Model Ys, which are significantly more expensive. There are more Tesla superchargers in the US, and while Tesla has been selling its full self-driving software in the US for years, they only began selling it in China in 2025. Tesla's third largest market is continental Europe, where they sold 326,000 cars. In the UK, Tesla sold 50,000 cars. In Canada, they sold 48,000. In Australia, they sold 38,000. And in the rest of the world, they sold 49,000. We do not yet have any reliable US sales data for 2025, but there is some reason to believe that demand for Teslas is waning. According to data from Car Gurus, the prices of used Teslas in the US has been steadily decreasing in recent years. At the peak in 2022, the average used Tesla was selling for almost $70,000. By March of 2025, the average selling price had fallen to less than $30,000.
And yeah, so I bought mine right after the price cuts. Like and buying a Tesla, by the way, is the easiest. It's like ordering on Amazon. It was awesome. But when I put in my order, before it was delivered, they had that huge price cut. It was like $18,000. And I was like, whoa, I'm about to pay $18,000 less for my car? Sweet, I'll take it. I'll take it all day. But I was thinking, and there were a lot of posts, the people who had bought it a month before that, who now have $18,000 that they're upside down on the car that they could have bought a month later. I would be hella pissed if that were me. So yeah, I benefited in that, but I know a lot of people did not.
Today, the average selling price of used Teslas is only slightly higher than the average selling price of all used cars, including gasoline-powered cars. While this is not direct evidence, the collapse in used Tesla prices indicates a general decrease in demand for the brand. In November of 2023, Elon Musk gave an interview at the New York Times Dealbook Summit, where he tried to defend himself in light of some recent controversies.
With respect to Tesla, we make the best cars. Whether you hate me, like me, or indifferent, do you want the best car or do you not want the best car? So I will certainly not pander. And Jonathan, like the only reason I'm here is because you are a friend.
First of all, I'm Andrew, but
yeah, sorry,
it's okay.
So according to Musk, he doesn't care if people disagree with his antics or political positions. They will still buy Teslas because Tesla makes the best cars. 3 or 4 years ago, it is probably true that Tesla made the best electric vehicles, but this is a much more questionable statement to make today. In recent years, dozens of compelling new EVs have come to market in the US. As recently as 2020, Tesla had over 75% EV market share in the US. In 2024, their market share fell below 50%.
Bro, no. Buying a Tesla is like buying a Harley Davidson. Okay, I used to ride Harley Davidsons. My dad and I, he had an electric glide, I had a Sportster, and it's like there's Harley Davidson, and then there's everything else that wants to be a Harley Davidson. You've got your Honda, your Victory, your Yamaha, your Kawasaki, your whatever. They all want to be Harley. Harley Davidson is the standard. All of them want to be that. This is Tesla in the EV industry. In fact, in the whole car industry, in my opinion, definitely biased, by the way. Tesla is up here. Every other manufacturer wants to be them. You've got Ford with their pickup trucks and their Mustang EV that nobody wants because they're the off brand. Tesla's the on brand. Tesla is the premium brand. Everything else wants to be that. Everything else is off brand. So you can't tell me that people are so stoked to go out to buy that stupid little Hyundai Iconic 5 or whatever it's called. Nobody wants that car. The only reason they don't buy the Tesla is because they're like, I don't want to be a Tesla owner. Tesla, I got my blue hair. I can't drive a Tesla if I have blue hair and I have crazy liberal ideas. Or they're like, dang, that Tesla's cool, but it's outside my price range, so I'm gonna go with this other model. Right? It's exactly that. Tesla is on brand, everything else is off brand.
50% for the first time. This is despite the fact that the US has one of the least competitive EV markets in the world. The most compelling EVs are made in China by companies such as BYD and XPeng.
Okay, to Beth Jesus' point, this is so true. This is 1000% true. Because like to change the cabin air filters, you have to like pull a couple panels off and do that stuff. Everything literally clips together. There's no screws in the whole, no bolts in the whole thing. It's all just clips all over the place. You do have a point there. I will give you that.
They make cars that are arguably much better than anything Tesla makes and at a much cheaper price. Thanks to tariffs originally imposed during Trump's first term and expanded by Biden, no Chinese companies sell cars in the US. While we don't yet have US sales data for 2025, we do have some early data for a number of European countries. According to Electric, in February of 2025, Tesla sales across Europe declined by more than 40% versus the previous year. In March of 2025, Tesla launched the new version of the Model Y called Juniper in Europe. Model Y production was disrupted as their factories transitioned to the new version. Also, many consumers presumably postponed their Model Y purchases as they waited for the new and improved version. But this cannot explain all of Tesla's sales troubles in Europe. Tesla unveiled a refreshed version of the Model 3 called the Highland in 2023. It went on sale in Europe in late 2023 and in North America in early 2024. Since the launch of the Highland, Tesla has not announced any plans to launch a new version of the Model 3. According to reporting by the EV-focused publication Electric, in the first 2 months of 2025, Model 3 sales have declined by 40% in Germany and 60% in France versus 2024.
And appearing to Mr. Fairbridge over here, no one buys Teslas in the Netherlands either.
In addition to his well-known role in US politics, Musk has also gotten himself involved in European politics. In January of 2025, he endorsed the right-wing Alternative for Germany party, which is abbreviated as AfD. The AfD is very controversial within Germany. Donald Trump is not very popular in Europe in general. Now Musk, and by extension Tesla, have become associated with Trump in the public consciousness. Remember that Tesla has a gigafactory in Berlin. In January, protesters got a giant light projector and projected an image of Musk performing a fascist salute on the side of the Berlin gigafactory. Just like in the US, there have been various acts of vandalism against Tesla vehicles in Germany, France, and other European countries. Would-be Tesla owners who are indifferent or even support Musk may be hesitant to buy a Tesla if they fear vandalism. While Tesla sales are collapsing across the EU, one place where they're doing surprisingly well is the United Kingdom. According to the UK Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders, approximately 4,000 Teslas were sold in the UK in February of 2025. This is a 20% increase versus February of 2024. In fact, Tesla's UK market share increased to 4.6% of all new car sales, including internal combustion engine cars. Political attitudes in the UK are different than in other parts of Europe. According to a recent poll, 34% of UK respondents have a favorable view of Donald Trump. For comparison, a similar poll conducted in Germany gave Trump an 11% approval rating. Anti-Trump sentiment, and by extension anti-Tesla sentiment, appears to be not so great in the UK as it is in other parts of Europe. It's hard to say how much impact this will have on Tesla's sales in the long run. There's not a whole lot of precedent for politically motivated boycotts against an automobile brand, at least not in the West. The most analogous situation I could find happened in China in 2012. In 2012, the Chinese and Japanese governments had a dispute over some tiny, uninhabited islands in the East China Sea. This dispute was covered extensively in Chinese state media. Large-scale anti-Japanese protests popped up in various cities across China. It's unclear if the Chinese government wanted these protests to happen, but once they started, the authorities allowed them to continue far beyond what would normally be allowed. At the peak of the protests in September of 2012, some of the demonstrators became violent, destroying automobile dealerships of Japanese brands and even destroying Japanese-made cars on the streets. During that month, Toyota's sales in China declined by 40%. Many people were scared to walk into Toyota dealerships, fearing that they could be the target of violence. After a couple weeks,
which is exactly what they're trying to do now in Tesla. It's just total bullcrap.
Chinese authorities finally cracked down, and the protests ended pretty quickly. The sales impact was relatively short-lived. In September of 2012, Toyota's sales declined by 40%, but for the full year of 2012, their sales actually increased marginally versus 2011, and they continued growing thereafter. Despite the ferocity of the protests, they did not appear to have any long-term effect on Japanese automobile brands. Fast forward to the current day, and China is one of Tesla's most important markets. Tesla has a gigafactory in Shanghai. It produces cars for the Chinese market. Teslas made in Shanghai are also exported to various countries across Asia and Australia. This chart here shows the monthly deliveries made by Giga Shanghai. This includes both Teslas sold within China and Teslas exported to other countries. In February of 2025, Tesla sold 27,000 cars in China. February is always a slow month in China due to Lunar New Year celebrations. This marked an 11% decline compared to February of 2024. In February of 2025, Giga Shanghai exported 3,900 cars outside of China. This is a shocking 87% decline versus February of 2024. One of the biggest export markets is Australia. Substantially all the Teslas sold in Australia are made in Shanghai. Tesla sales in Australia have been declining in recent months. In February of 2025, approximately 1,600 Teslas were sold in Australia. That's a decline of 72% compared to February of 2024. Remember how Musk previously boasted that people will continue buying Teslas because they are the best cars. The recent data from Australia shows that this is no longer the case. Australia does not have a domestic automobile manufacturing industry. With no local industry to protect, Australia imposes minimal tariffs on imported vehicles. This has led to a massive influx of Chinese EV imports in recent years. In February of 2025, BYD sold 3,300 cars in Australia. This is more than double what Tesla sold.
And I think that is where the real crux of it is because we don't, as far as I know, we don't have BYD in the US. But from what I've seen, like the price of these is like ungodly low. I saw one, I swear I saw some video that said that you get a BYD electric car for $10,000. An equivalent Tesla was like 30,000 or something like that. Granted, I don't have the data in front of me, but like, yeah, of course they're going to deliver twice as many. Of course their sales are going to be down because who's going to buy one Tesla when they could buy 3 BYDs? I mean, I completely understand that.
In that same month. Let's compare the Tesla Model 3 to the BYD Seal. In Australia,
Okay, here we go.
the Model 3 starts at 55,000 Australian dollars, which is equivalent to about 35,000 US dollars. The BYD Seal is slightly cheaper at 49,000 Australian dollars. In terms of specs, they're pretty similar. The Seal has a slightly longer driving range, while the Model 3 has slightly faster acceleration. With viable alternatives available, consumers can easily ditch Tesla now that the brand has become controversial. Since Trump's inauguration, Elon Musk has reportedly been living in Washington, D.C., and is dedicating the majority of his time to running the Department of Government Efficiency. So even as Tesla sales are collapsing, its CEO is away without leave. At least for the time being, Musk appears to be committed to his work at Doge. It's not clear that he has any plan to turn around his company's declining automobile sales. The last time we've heard from Musk directly about Tesla was in their most recent earnings call on January 29th. Even as the company's sales are collapsing across many key markets, Musk seems to be retreating into delusions about magical and new technologies. In the call, Musk said he sees a path where Tesla will be worth more than the next 5 companies combined. That's not just automobile companies, but companies in general. Currently, the combined market capitalization of the top 5 companies is approximately $13 trillion. As of the time of recording this video, Tesla is the 11th most valuable company in the world, with a market capitalization of $700 billion. Thus, Musk is projecting an 18-fold increase in Tesla's valuation. The crux of Musk's bull case is the Optimus humanoid robot. Musk says that the Optimus will eventually generate $10 trillion of revenue for Tesla. The goal is for Optimus to be fully autonomous and powered by artificial intelligence. It is intended to replace human workers. In October of 2024, Tesla showed off the Optimus at their We Robot event. The robots were seen pouring drinks, handing out gift bags, and interacting with the audience. It was later revealed that the robots were being remotely controlled by human operators. In other words, it was fake. The robots were not powered by AI. After more than a decade of development, Tesla still can't make a car that drives itself at anything near the safety level of a human driver. I won't be holding my breath for...
Oh my gosh, that is a horrible example right there. Okay, so I don't have FSD, but I had a couple trial months. Like every once in a while, they'll pop out a trial month. Try FSD. 2 times I did it, and both times I was very unimpressed. Listen, Tesla owner here, I was exceptionally unimpressed. Jonathan says, I still love Chris, even if he does drive a Tesla. I'll tell you what, most of the time I'm driving my wife's Lexus SUV because she wants to drive the Tesla more than I do. Plus I like stay at home all day. So yeah. Rick, we can definitely still be friends, even though you got the Hyundai. We can still be friends. It's okay. Okay, so let me tell you my my 2 stories. So first one was take my son to school in FSD, and it's driving fine. Then we get up to this 4-way intersection. There's a car turning left in front of us, and as we come up to it, it slows down and then goes off road. I'm not joking. It pulls off the road to go around this car that was turning left. And I'm like, what are you doing? I can wait 10 seconds for this car to turn left. We are not in that big a hurry. And I was like, disable, right? Then several months go by, and then there's another free trial thing that comes out for a month. And I was like, okay, let's try it again. Let's see if it's any better. And we're driving down the road on I-30. And there's cars passing us, right, doing their thing. And we come up to a car that's going slower. So the car slows down, and it puts on its blinker. And I'm like, okay, it's going to change lanes. And there's a gap this big. I'm telling you, this big. And it's like, let's do this. And I was like, whoa, hold on a minute here. And I'm getting honked at. And it was a huge, huge ordeal. And I'm like, I am done with this. This was not cool at all that it decided to basically risk my life to change lanes here. Not cool.
For a working humanoid robot. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video. What do you think about Tesla? Do you think their sales volume will ever recover? Let us know in the comments section below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Wall Street Millennial, signing without...
Alright, so what do y'all think of that video? Wasn't so much of a stock video. I was hoping for more stock there. But let me introduce myself real quick. My name is Christopher Yule. I've twice been awarded top 100 people in finance. I was mentored by 5 of the market wizards, the best traders of all time. I've been successfully trading since 2009, and this is where outliers like us save time, make money, and start winning less risk together as a team. Now, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's rank this video. We didn't rank everything all week, just because not everything really fit. Same with this one here. It's not, there's nothing wrong with it. I just thought it was going to be more of a stock related video versus more of a Tesla sales are going down video. So I see several ones in the chat. I'm going to agree with that. And it's not anything personal to that channel. It's just like, it wasn't what I thought it would be. So, but you know, just facts. I agree. It's a Happy Pie Day. It is Happy Pie Day. We'll give it a 3.14. A 3.14 for Happy Pie Day. I'll work with that. Good one on there. Who said that? That was Patrick. Good one on that, Patrick. All right, let's move on here. Now, don't forget, if you are ready to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, you can get the Outlier Annual Pass for just 64% off. That's only 82 cents a day over outlier.com. That's 64% off the monthly price. And of course, if you are already in a trial, you can send us an upgrade and we'll take care of you. So what do you think? Let's go over to my YouTube page and let's do this poll real quick. Let's do this poll. So, poll of the day. The best traders have no ego. You have to swallow your pride and get out when the market tells you. What do you think? So, your options are discipline wins, not pride, or confidence makes money. Now, let's look at both sides of the coin here. Side one is you've got, sorry, my wife is blowing up my phone and I told her stop, I'm busy. Side one is you've got, you know, a trading plan. You know where you're going to get in, you know where you're going to get out, but you have to be the one with the discipline to follow that plan, which can be very tough. We've talked about that earlier. Or the other side of the coin, which is where Tom Nash sits. Tom, hope you're watching. This is where Tom Nash sits, where he says, you know what? I believe in the company. I don't care what the price of the stock is today because I believe in the company, and the company itself will go back up. And you know, there's lots of stocks that people have a lot of conviction in, like AMD. You know, there's lots of stocks like AMD where people have a lot of conviction. Tesla, since we talked about that, people have a lot of conviction in Tesla. SoFi, there's a lot of conviction in SoFi. But in my opinion, conviction doesn't equal dollars. So I want you to go vote over on my YouTube channel. Discipline wins, not pride, or confidence makes money. And then we'll take a look at what you think about that. So next, of course, put your stocks in the chat. Put your stocks in the chat so we can start looking at them this morning and see how they look. Now, I do have one request, is that when you put your stock in the chat, also put in if you're looking at it from a long side or from a short side. That makes it so much easier for us when we talk about it. So Nathan says Tesla, but for long or short? For long or short? Steve says 0. Biased and unsupported. Unsubstantiated data. I'm sorry. Johnny says she wants Alexis back. No, dude, I'm telling you, so today I'm driving my car because I got to go clean it out before we head out on a road trip tomorrow morning. So I won't be here next week. But she got in her car and she's like, so technically the Tesla's my car, the Lexus is her car, and every time she drives her car, she's like, so yeah, it's funny. Peregrine wants to look at Duke Energy, DUK. Let's go look at Duke Energy, DUK. I've traded Duke Energy in the past. We got a buy signal on that. Did we get it? We got a buy signal today. So this is getting more greedy, up to 69% right now, which sounds great to me. I like seeing it more greedy. The utility sector is still quite greedy. Now, utilities is one of those defensive plays where when the market is weak, people look to utilities and people look to staples for some place to invest. And right now, like I say, buy signal on Duke. The fear and greed is going up right now, up to 69. And the whole sector itself, even though it's not quite as greedy as it was, is still quite greedy itself. Let's look over in the chart, see if there's anything in our way. There we go. There is an order block, a double order block around 119. So this was a double order block 2 days in a row. That's interesting. Created back in October. And you can see right here, it's already kissed it a couple times. It may struggle to get through here. But Duke Energy looks like it's a great bullish setup, but just keep in mind, you've got this overhead resistance right here. Let's look on VZ. Coach Name, good to see you. Let's look at VZ. Coach Name, how you been, man? It's been a couple days. All right, Verizon. So here's another example of one that went down, but ultimately went up, right? We talked earlier about how the Tesla signal wasn't the most brilliant one because it had gone down. This Verizon signal, it went down, but it still went up later on. But if we zoom in over here, you can see Verizon's getting way more greedy. It's up at 73. However, the communications sector is looking weak. Now, I always want to point this out. For each stock, 40% of the stock's move is due to the market. If the market is weak, then it's going to be holding back the stock. If the sector is weak, it's going to be holding back the stock as well, because that's 30%. And only the last 30% of the stock's move is due to the stock itself. So, Coach Name, you've got 70% holding against Verizon. However, Verizon itself continues to be strong. Here's the deal. If the market recovers, this could absolutely slingshot it higher, because this would be called a leader, right? This is a leader in this sector, because we know the sector is weak, but yet this stock is strong. So if you found a leader in a sector and the market recovers, it can really push up that leader. Like, it could look absolutely astronomical. So that's my opinion on that, Coach Name. Glad you're here. Glad you suggested it. Sorry. I got something in my throat this morning. Let's look at Marty wants to look at GV long. GV is what? GV is one we don't cover, but that's okay. We cover 2,500 stocks and we're adding more all the time. We don't have enough data in order to populate the fear and greed heat map is why it's not covered. But Mahesh has a plan. Mahesh is our CEO to still cover all the stocks basically and just blank out the fear and greed heat map until we've got enough data to push those through. So upgrades like that will be coming soon. But if we look at GV, Visionary Holdings has a very bullish trend that started, right? Remember we talked earlier about the red light, green light? You could imagine this candle being a green light because your 10, 20, 50 all crossed right there and it crossed over the 10 and then it's moved higher and higher. Let's say from the close of this to here, it's up only 65%. That's huge. But keep in mind, you do have this big order block up here. So back in May of 2024, it really struggled to get through this area. And right now, it seems like it's doing the same. You've got several wicks up into here as well. It is coming up into earnings. This could be one of those great buy the rumors, sell the news type of situations. So GV actually looks quite bullish to me. But of course, you've got that order block here. Know where your risk is at. So good one on that. Congress is buying. Poda, good to see you. Wants to look at Baidu long, BIDU long, another Chinese stock. I know that the Chinese stocks have been doing pretty well lately. Let's look at Baidu long. All right, so we got a buy signal today. Fear and greed heat maps going up. So it's getting more greedy up at 58. The communications sector, again, getting more fearful. But if we go to the Baidu chart, let's look over here, BIDU. You got your 10, 20, 50 right here. Imagine this being your green light. This could be your green light. Actually, it'd be the next candle right there. Because your 10, 20, 50 wasn't quite crossed until here. So your green light was right there. I mean, I don't see anything up ahead. We got the stock itself getting more greedy. You got a buy signal. You've got a lot of confluence of signals here. You've just got a market that's not super strong, which could be holding it back. But Baidu could be a leader. That's a good one there. I like it. Yannick wants to look at Hershey. So let's go to Hershey. HSY. All right, check it out. We got a really solid buy signal here on Hershey. It was ultra fearful when this buy signal came through at 13, and then it moved up a lot. Now it looks like something's happened in the last couple of days. I mentioned earlier, staples is a defensive sector, so people look to this area when the market is not performing well. Has been getting more greedy. The stock itself getting more greedy. Both of those are a great place to be. Let's look over on the chart real quick, HSY. And okay, we'll talk about that red line in a moment. HSY. Moving up. Tell me order blocks don't work. Look at this. Now there's a whole bunch of order blocks above. Look at this. Tell me order blocks don't work. When it goes up, it literally wicks right into that order block and gets rejected. It's crazy. It's crazy pants to see order blocks working like that, right? And that's why I'm a huge advocate of making sure they're on your charts. They will be inside of Outlier. Everybody will have access to those once we get our new charts built in, which is in the next 3 to 5 weeks is the plan. But yeah, this would have been a red light to me. A close under that 10 EMA is a red light for me. So let's take a look at why I drew this line on the chart. I drew this line on the chart because people want to say you want to buy the dips. Buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. But here's the deal. You don't know how far this dip is going to dip. So if you liked Hershey at 165, and you're like, well, I mean, let's go way back. Oh, I loved it at 200, but I'm not interested until it goes down to 165. And then it did come down to 165. And you're like, oh man, okay, I'm going to start buying now. And then it dipped all the way down to 140. Went all the way down to 140. And you're probably thinking to yourself, oh, I'm such a genius. I bought it at 165. And if you're like Jeremy, you're like, oh, I'm going to get as many as I can. So on the way down, you're like, okay, I'm going to buy at 165. I'm going to buy at 160. I'm going to buy it again at 155. I'm such a genius. Oh man, I'm so smart. I'm buying it all the way down. And now it's at 150. Oh, this is so great. Oh, 145. Oh, I love it so much. Here's the deal. And this is crazy. This might blow your mind. But rather than averaging down, so let's do the math. Let's do the math. Rather than buying 1,000 shares at 165, 1,000 at 165, and then again at 160, and then again at 155, and then again at 150, and then again at 145, right? You've still got 1,000 shares. The average price, would be 155, okay? Now, let's do the opposite. And let's say, you know what? I don't like to buy the dips as they're going down, but I really am interested in owning a large portion of Hershey. I want to be Warren Buffett Jr. when it comes to Hershey, but I'm only going to buy it on the way up. And then you're like, okay, well, I think I'll start buying when it starts going up. And, you know, I'll even buy on this candle right here, just for posterity's sake here. So you're like, okay, I'm going to buy at 145. I'm going to buy at 150. I'm going to buy at 155. I'm going to buy at 160. I'm going to buy at 165. And man, this is so brilliant. I am so smart. I bought my shares all the way up rather than all the way down. What do you think the average price would be? I mean, you were a genius. You were the world's smartest investor by buying the dip, right? So clearly you had to have had a way better price by getting all these shares in the meantime, right? No, you aren't. You aren't a genius. No, not at all. Now, of course, I'm not talking specifically about you, Yannick. What I'm saying is there is no sense at all. You cannot convince me that there is any reason to average down on anything. In fact, I didn't say this. Paul Tudor Jones said it. He's one of the greatest traders ever. He said it. He said it. Losers average losers. Losers average losers. You don't want to be a loser. You don't want to be averaging down because the problem is you don't know how far down it's going to go. But once it turns around and you can get in at the same price, this is what I'm just trying to get across. You can get in at the same price. Your average price on the way back up is the same as it was on the way back down. But here's the deal. On the way back up, you're controlling your risk. You're not jumping off a cliff and hoping magically that the water shows up that you can plunge into. You're actually going with the trend of the market. It's telling you where it's going. So Yannick, thank you for allowing me to come on to Hershey and to pontificate about that for a moment. But let's go back to the poll. I want to see what y'all voted. So let me refresh the page and then I'll vote and we'll see what the outcome is. The best traders have no ego. You have to swallow your pride and get out when the market tells you. What do you think? Discipline wins, not pride, or confidence makes money? Do confidence in a stock, this hubris to say, I know better than the market, is wrecking a lot of people on Palantir. Confidence in a stock, thinking that you know more than the market, saw people who had a 100% gain in Tesla 100% disappear. Confidence in the market will absolutely wreck you. Even on a stock like Nvidia, which you think only goes up. It only goes up, right? But until you start understanding your risk, you're not going to be able to keep your money. There will be a day where the market will take it from you and say, that was your lesson. That was your tuition. So I say discipline wins, not pride. And 87% of you agree. Very cool. That means I'm doing something right. If you guys are agreeing, that means you're learning with me. And I really, really, really appreciate that. So of course, be sure to tell me what you're trading in the chat and then come back for this afternoon where outliers like us will save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. Now, YouTube is going to pop up a couple recommended videos. I recommend you watch one. And I recommend you have a fantastic day. I'll see you this afternoon.